I caught him cheating on me with my cousin on our wedding. The rival alpha grabbed me to his Miami estate. You know that moment when your entire world cracks open like an egg, and everything you thought was solid just spills out?
Yeah.
Eva Pierce lived that moment at exactly 2:47 p.m. on what was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. The St. Regis, Chicago. Marble floors so polished you could see your reflection. Crystal chandeliers throwing rainbows across cream-colored walls. 300 guests downstairs sipping champagne that cost more per bottle than Eva's first car. The string quartet playing Pachelbel's Canon in D, because of course they were. Everything perfect. Everything planned down to the last white rose petal. Eva was 30 minutes away from walking down that aisle. 30 minutes from becoming Mrs. Tristan Holloway. 30 minutes from the life she'd been building in her head since she was 16 years old. But first, she needed her grandmother's locket. The something old. The one thing her mother had clutched in her hospital bed 3 years ago, pressing it into Eva's palm with trembling fingers, whispering, "You're more than you think, baby girl. When the time comes, you'll know." Eva never understood what that meant. Her mother said a lot of strange things toward the end. Things about legacy, about blood, about being careful who you trust. The morphine talking, the doctor said. Grief does funny things to the mind. But that locket? That was real. That was solid. And Eva had left it in the bridal suite. So she gathered up the skirt of her pre-wedding robe, white silk, monogrammed, a gift from Tristan's mother, and headed back upstairs. Her best friend Zara was supposed to be guarding the suite, keeping everything perfect, making sure no one touched the dress before it was time. The hallway on the 10th floor was quiet. Too quiet. That should have been her first clue. Eva's heels clicked against the marble. She was thinking about her vows. About how Tristan's eyes would look when he saw her in that dress, the one her mother had saved for 10 years to buy. Working double shifts as a nurse, skipping meals, putting away $20 here, $50 there, all so her daughter could have one perfect day. The dress cost $8,000. Her mother never told her that until the cancer diagnosis, until it was too late to return it, too late to argue. You deserve beautiful things, Eva. Don't you ever forget that. Eva reached the suite. The door was slightly ajar.
Weird.
She pushed it open, and the world stopped. There are some images that burn themselves into your brain. The kind that show up behind your eyelids when you're trying to sleep. The kind that chase you into every quiet moment for the rest of your life. This was one of those. Her wedding dress, that $8,000 dress, her mother's sacrifice, her future, was crumpled on the floor like trash. And on top of it, tangled together like they had every right to be there, were two people. Tristan, her fiancé, the man who'd proposed on one knee in front of the bean, who'd promised her forever, who'd held her while she cried over her mother's grave. And Isla, her cousin, the girl who'd shown up 6 months ago with a suitcase and a sob story about a bad breakup, asking if she could crash just for a little while. The girl Eva had welcomed into her home, her life, her world. They didn't even hear her come in. Isla's head was thrown back, her red hair spilling everywhere. Tristan's hands were. Eva's stomach lurched. She must have made a sound. A gasp. A whimper. Something. Because Tristan looked up. And here's the part that really shattered her. He didn't look guilty. He didn't scramble. He didn't even have the decency to look ashamed. He smiled. Actually smiled. Like he'd been caught doing something mildly inconvenient, like leaving the toilet seat up or forgetting to take out the trash. He stood up, casual as anything, and adjusted his tie. His wedding tie. The navy blue one Eva had picked out because it matched his eyes.
Eva. His voice was calm.
Collected. Don't be dramatic.
Don't be
dramatic. Those 3 words echoed in her skull. Isla slid off the floor, tugging her skirt down, not even bothering to hide her smirk. She grabbed a tissue from the vanity and wiped her lipstick, the same shade Eva had helped her pick out last week at Sephora. "Babe, relax," Isla said, like they were discussing weekend plans. "It's not that deep."
Not that deep.
Eva's hands started shaking. Her vision blurred at the edges, tunneling in on Tristan's face. He stepped toward her, and she noticed his shirt was buttoned wrong. One button off. The kind of mistake you make when you're in a hurry. Look, he said, like he was explaining something obvious to a child. You knew what this was. You're comfortable, Eva. You're safe. You're the kind of woman a man marries. He said it like it was a compliment. But Isla? He glanced back at her cousin, who was now examining her nails. She's exciting. She's fun. She's everything you're not, Isla finished, meeting Eva's eyes with a cold, sharp gleam. No hard feelings, babe. You're just not built for a man like him. Not built. The words hit like a slap. Eva's chest tightened. Her breath came in short, sharp gasps. And for just a second, just a heartbeat, something strange happened. Her fingernails darkened. Not painted. Darkened. Like ink spreading under the surface. And they felt wrong. Too long. Too sharp. She looked down at her hands, and for a split second, she could have sworn they were claws. But then she blinked, and they were normal again. Just her hands.
Shaking. Pale. Human.
She was losing it. Had to be. Shock.
Trauma.
Her mind breaking under the weight of what she was seeing. Tristan was still talking. Something about how she should have known, how he'd given her signs, how this didn't change anything about their future. I was always going to need both, he said simply. You for stability. Her for everything else. The room spun. Eva opened her mouth, but nothing came out. No screams. No tears. Nothing. Isla was leaning against the vanity now, arms crossed, looking bored. Like this was an inconvenience. Like Eva was the problem. And Tristan just kept talking. Kept explaining. Kept acting like this was reasonable. Eva's body moved on autopilot. She turned. Walked out of the suite. Down the hallway. Her robe dragging behind her like a ghost. She didn't remember pressing the elevator button. Didn't remember the ride down. Didn't remember anything except the ringing in her ears and the way her mother's voice echoed in her head. You're more than you think, baby girl. The lobby was full of people. Her people. Guests who'd flown in from 3 states. Aunts, uncles, college friends. Her father's business partners. They all saw her. White silk robe. Mascara streaking down her face in black rivers. Hair falling out of its carefully pinned updo.
The bride. Broken.
Whispers erupted like wildfire. Is that Eva? Oh my God, what happened? Someone get her father. Is the wedding off? A camera flash went off. Some distant cousin with too much time and too little sense, snapping a photo for Instagram. Eva couldn't breathe. The walls were closing in. The chandeliers too bright. The voices too loud. She pushed through the crowd, stumbling toward the revolving door. Someone grabbed her arm. Her father, maybe, but she yanked away.
Out.
She needed out. The cold Chicago air hit her like a freight train. December wind cutting through the thin silk, biting at her skin. She ran. Or tried to. Her legs felt like jelly, like they might give out any second. She made it maybe 20 feet down Michigan Avenue before her heel caught on a crack in the sidewalk. She lurched forward and slammed directly into something solid. Not a wall. A chest. Hands caught her before she hit the ground. Strong hands.
Steady.
Eva looked up, and her breath caught for an entirely different reason. The man staring down at her had eyes like a storm rolling in over Lake Michigan.
Gray. Deep.
Endless. The kind of eyes that saw too much and said too little. He was tall, well over 6 feet, with dark hair that looked like he'd been running his hands through it all day. Sharp jaw. Broad shoulders under an expensive black coat. The kind of man who turned heads without trying. But it wasn't his looks that made Eva's heart stutter. It was the way he was looking at her. Like he knew her. Like he'd been waiting for her. Easy, he said, and his voice was low, rough, like gravel and honey mixed together. You're safe.
Safe.
When was the last time she'd felt safe? Eva tried to pull away, but her legs buckled. He caught her again, his grip firm but somehow gentle. I'm fine, she choked out, though they both knew it was a lie. You're shaking. I said I'm fine. But she wasn't. She wasn't fine. She wasn't anything. His eyes searched her face, and something flickered there. Recognition? Concern? Something deeper? Let me guess, he said quietly, his gaze flicking toward the St. Regis behind her. Wedding gone wrong. Eva's laugh came out broken, jagged. You could say that. He was still holding her. She should pull away. Should thank him and leave. Should do literally anything except stand here on a freezing Chicago sidewalk in a silk robe, falling apart in front of a complete stranger. But she couldn't move. Because when his hands touched her skin, something happened. Something she couldn't explain. A jolt. Like electricity. But deeper. Hotter. Primal. And for just a second, she swore she felt it again. That wrongness in her fingertips. That darkness spreading under her skin. The man's eyes widened, just barely. Like he felt it too. Come with me, he said. Eva blinked. What? You need to get out of here. And I'm not leaving you on the street looking like this. I don't even know you. No, he agreed. But you will. And something in his voice. Something absolute, something certain, made her believe him. So when he guided her toward a blacked-out SUV idling at the curb, she didn't fight. She just followed. Because in that moment, with her world shattered and her heart in pieces, this stranger with storm-gray eyes felt like the only solid thing left in the universe. And when she looked up at him one more time before getting into that car, she felt it deep in her bones. Her life had just split into before and after. And there was no going back. Before we dive in, drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy werewolf stories like this, betrayal, revenge, forbidden mates, and alphas who don't play games, be sure to like the video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share it with someone who'd love it too. Trust me, you'll want to see how this ends. Chapter 2. The SUV smelled like leather and something else Eva couldn't quite place. Something that made her skin prickle in a way that wasn't entirely uncomfortable. A cedar, maybe. Or pine. Something earthy and deep that didn't belong in a city car. She pressed herself against the door, trying to put as much distance between herself and the stranger as possible. Which was ridiculous, considering she'd just willingly gotten into his vehicle. But her brain wasn't exactly firing on all cylinders right now. The driver. An older man with silver at his temples and the kind of calm that came from seeing everything, pulled smoothly into traffic without a word. No questions. No shocked glances in the rearview mirror at the trembling woman in a wedding robe. Like this was just another Tuesday. Eva's hands wouldn't stop shaking. She clasped them together in her lap, pressing hard enough that her knuckles went white. The pressure helped. Barely. The man beside her sat perfectly still. Not awkward still, controlled still. Like a predator that had chosen not to move rather than one that didn't know how. Eva could feel his eyes on her. Not staring. Just aware. Watching her the way you'd watch something fragile that might shatter if you looked away. Where are we going? Her voice came out rougher than she intended. Scraped raw. Somewhere quiet. His answer was simple.
Direct.
Somewhere you can think. I can think fine right here. Can you? Eva opened her mouth to snap back. And felt the first tear slide down her cheek. Then another. And suddenly she couldn't stop them. 3 years. She'd given Tristan 3 years of her life. She'd introduced him to her dying mother. She'd held his hand through his father's bankruptcy. She'd planned a future around him. Kids' names, vacation spots, the house they'd buy in Oak Park with a big backyard, and the reading nook.
Gone.
All of it. In the space of 30 seconds. And Isla.
God, Isla.
The girl who'd borrowed Eva's clothes. Who'd eaten at Eva's table. Who'd cried about how lonely she was, how hard it was to trust men after everything she'd been through. All lies. How long had it been going on? Weeks? Months? Had they laughed about her? Had they planned this? A sob caught in Eva's throat, ugly and desperate. And then warmth settled around her shoulders. The man had moved without her noticing, fluid and silent, and draped his coat over her. Heavy wool, still holding his body heat. That scent wrapped around her like a blanket. cedar and rain and something wild, something that made her chest ache in a completely different way. Eva turned to look at him, tears still streaming. He wasn't watching her anymore. He was staring out the window, giving her privacy even though they were trapped 3 feet apart. His jaw was tight. A muscle jumped there, like he was clenching his teeth. "Thank you," Eva whispered. He didn't respond, just gave a single, sharp nod. They drove in silence for 10 minutes. Eva watched the city blur past, Michigan Avenue giving way to Lakeshore Drive, the gray water of Lake Michigan stretching out to the horizon. December wind whipped white caps across the surface. The driver took an exit Eva didn't recognize. They wound through quieter streets, past brownstones and bare trees, until they pulled up in front of a building that definitely didn't look like a hotel. Private residence. Expensive. The kind of place that required a key card just to get into the lobby. Eva's stomach dropped.
Wait.
Where? My place. The man was already out of the car, coming around to her side. He opened her door, extended his hand. "You need somewhere safe. This is safe. I don't even know your name." His eyes met hers.
Storm gray.
Intense. And for just a moment, something flickered there, amber, like a flame behind smoke. Eva blinked. The color was gone. "Dante," he said. "Dante Ashford." The name hit her like a punch. Ashford. She'd heard that name before. Tristan had mentioned it. Ashford Capital. The private equity firm that had been circling his family's company for months, threatening a hostile takeover. Tristan had ranted about them over dinner, called them vultures, sharks, every predatory animal he could think of. Eva started. "The man destroying your fiancé's business?" "Yes." Dante's expression didn't change. "Ex-fiancé, I assume." "How did you?" "You're standing on a Chicago sidewalk in a wedding robe, crying. Doesn't take a genius." "Fair point." Eva stared at his extended hand. She should run. Should call someone. Should do literally anything except follow a stranger, a hostile corporate raider, into his private residence. But her legs were shaking again. Her head was pounding. And something about Dante Ashford felt solid in a way nothing else did right now.
So she took his hand.
His skin was warm. Too warm. Like he was running a fever. That same electric jolt shot through her palm, racing up her arm and lodging somewhere behind her ribs. Dante's eyes widened, just fractionally. His fingers tightened around hers. "You feel that?" Eva breathed. His jaw worked. "Yes." "What is it?" "I don't know." The lie was obvious. He knew. He just wasn't telling her. The building's lobby was all marble and gold fixtures. A doorman nodded at Dante without comment, another person completely unfazed by the crying woman in a silk robe. They took an elevator to the top floor. Penthouse, obviously. Because of course this man lived in a penthouse. The doors opened directly into his apartment. Not a hallway. Not a landing. Straight into a massive open space with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the lake. Eva had seen expensive places before. Tristan's parents had money. Old money, the kind that came with trust funds and summer homes. But this was different. This was power. The kind of wealth that didn't need to announce itself. Everything was clean lines and dark wood. Minimalist but not cold. A fireplace that looked like it actually got used. Bookshelves lined with actual books, not decorator spines. Art that looked real, not mass-produced. "Sit," Dante said, gesturing to a charcoal gray couch that probably cost more than Eva's car. She sat. Mostly because her legs finally gave out. Dante disappeared into another room. Eva heard running water. Cabinets opening and closing. She pulled his coat tighter around herself. It swallowed her. He was easily 6'3", maybe 6'4", with shoulders that suggested he did more than sit behind a desk all day. The coat smelled even stronger now. That cedar scent. That rain and earth smell that made something deep in her chest pull tight. He returned with a glass of water and a bottle of bourbon. "Water first," he said, handing it to her. "Then this if you want it." Eva drank. She hadn't realized how dry her throat was. The water helped. The bourbon helped more. Dante sat across from her in a leather armchair, elbows on his knees, watching her with that same controlled intensity. "Why are you helping me?" Eva asked. The bourbon made her brave. Or stupid. Probably stupid. "Would you rather I hadn't?" "That's not an answer." His mouth twitched. Almost a smile.
No.
"It's not." They stared at each other. Eva should look away. Should break the eye contact. But she couldn't. It felt like looking away would somehow make her disappear. "You were at the hotel for business," Eva said. Not a question. "Yes." "The Holloway acquisition." "Yes." "So, you know Tristan." Dante's expression darkened. Something cold and dangerous flashed behind his eyes. "I know of him. We've never met." "But you knew."
When you saw me.
"You knew what happened." "I smelled him on you." Dante's voice went rough. "Him and someone else. Female. Related by blood." Eva's skin prickled. "How could you possibly?" "Good knows." That wasn't an explanation. That was deflection. But Eva was too tired to push. She took another sip of bourbon. Let the burn settle in her stomach. "He said I was comfortable. That I wasn't built for him." Dante's hands curled into fists. "He's an idiot. He cheated on me with my cousin. On our wedding day. On my mother's dress." Eva's voice cracked. "What does that make me?" "Stronger than him." Dante leaned forward. "Anyone can be cruel, Eva. It takes no strength to hurt someone who trusts you. But walking away? Not breaking? That takes everything." "I feel pretty broken." "You're not." His voice was absolute.
Certain.
"Trust me." "How would you know?" His eyes met hers. Held. "Because broken things don't burn the way you do." The air between them went thick. Charged. Eva's breath caught. Her pulse kicked up, hammering against her ribs. And for just a second, just a heartbeat, she swore she saw it again. That amber flicker behind the gray of his eyes. Dante stood abruptly. Turned away. His shoulders were rigid, his spine straight as a blade. "You should rest," he said, his voice carefully controlled. "There's a guest room down the hall. Everything you need is there." "Dante?" "Rest, Eva." He didn't turn around. "We'll talk tomorrow." It wasn't a suggestion. Eva stood on shaking legs. She should argue. Should demand answers. Should do something other than obey a stranger's orders. But exhaustion crashed over her like a wave. Bone deep. Soul deep. She walked down the hallway he'd indicated. Found the guest room. Bigger than her entire apartment, with an attached bathroom that looked like a spa. She locked the door. Stripped off the ruined robe. Stood under a scalding shower until her skin turned pink. When she finally crawled into bed, silk sheets, down comforter, the kind of luxury she'd never let herself want, she expected to lie awake all night, replaying everything, drowning in it. But instead, wrapped in the lingering scent of cedar and rain from Dante's coat that she'd hung on the back of the door, Eva fell into the deepest sleep she'd had in years. And she dreamed. Not of Tristan. Not of Isla. Not of the wedding that never was. She dreamed of running.
Fast.
Faster than should be possible. Her feet barely touching the ground. She dreamed of forest and moonlight and the taste of freedom on her tongue. She dreamed of amber eyes watching her from the shadows. And she dreamed of her mother's voice, clear as a bell. "You're more than you think, baby girl. When the time comes, you'll know." Eva woke with a gasp, her heart racing, her skin damp with sweat. Dawn light was creeping through the curtains. Chicago spread out below her like a promise. And somewhere in this penthouse, Dante Ashford was awake. She could feel it. Some instinct she didn't understand telling her exactly where he was. She pressed her hand to her chest. Her pulse was still racing. Because somewhere between the St. Regis and here, between betrayal and bourbon, something had shifted. Something she couldn't name. Something that felt dangerously close to fate. Chapter 3. Eva stared at Dante like he'd just told her the earth was flat and gravity was optional. "War," she repeated, her voice flat. "You said war." "Yes." Over me. Yes. She laughed. Actually laughed. High and sharp and completely unhinged. This is insane. Yesterday, I was planning seating charts and worrying about whether the salmon would be dry, and now I'm what? Some kind of supernatural property dispute. Dante's jaw tightened. You're not property. That's not what it sounds like. Eva set down her bourbon glass before she threw it.
Tristan claims me.
You say I'm yours. Has anyone considered asking what I want? What do you want? The question hung between them like a challenge. Eva opened her mouth.
Closed it.
Because honestly, she had no idea. 24 hours ago, she'd wanted a wedding, a future, a life that made sense. Now she wanted to set something on fire. I want answers, she said finally. Real ones. Not cryptic alpha male nonsense. You tell me I'm a werewolf, fine. Prove it. You tell me my mother was one of you, show me. You tell me Tristan was using me, explain how. Dante studied her for a long moment. Then he pulled out his phone, tapped something, and held it out. Eva took it. The screen showed a news article from the Chicago Tribune, posted 2 hours ago. Holloway Pierce wedding ends in scandal. Groom claims bride fled due to pre-wedding nerves. Her stomach dropped. She scrolled. There was a photo. Her, stumbling through the St. Regis lobby, mascara streaked, looking completely unhinged. And below it, a statement from Tristan. Evangeline has always struggled with anxiety. The pressure of the day overwhelmed her, but I know she'll come back when she's ready. Our bond is unbreakable. She's my mate, and I'll wait as long as it takes.
Mate.
He'd actually used that word publicly. He's spinning it, Eva breathed, making me look unstable. He's covering his tracks. And claiming you legally before you can reject him. Dante took the phone back. In PAC law, a public declaration holds weight, especially if it goes unchallenged. This is medieval. This is survival. Dante's voice went hard. PACs operate outside human law, Eva. We have our own rules, our own hierarchies. And right now, Tristan is using those rules to trap you. Eva's hands curled into fists.
Why?
He made it clear I wasn't good enough. That I was boring. Comfortable. Why would he want to keep me? Because you're not what he thought you were. Dante moved closer, his presence overwhelming in the small space of the terrace. Your bloodline is old. Powerful. If he can claim you, his pack gains legitimacy they've been lacking for generations. But I can't even shift. Yet. Dante's eyes held hers. Dormant doesn't mean absent. It means sleeping. Waiting for the right trigger. And what's the trigger? His gaze dropped to her mouth. Just for a second. Then back up. Depends on the wolf. The air between them went electric. Eva stepped back. Her heart was hammering. This is too much. I need time to think. You have 29 days. That's not time. That's a countdown to what? Forced marriage to a man who betrayed me. Not if you challenge him first.
How?
Dante's smile was all teeth. You reject his claim.
Publicly.
In front of witnesses from both packs. And then you fight. Eva's blood went cold. Fight. As in actual combat. Yes. I've never been in a fight in my life. I took a self-defense class in college and sprained my wrist. Then you'll learn. Dante's voice left no room for argument. Or you'll belong to him forever. The word forever hit like a hammer. Eva sank into one of the terrace chairs. Her mind was spinning, trying to process everything. Werewolves.
Mates.
Pack law. Combat. 24 hours ago, her biggest problem was whether to have an open bar or drink tickets. Why are you helping me? The question came out raw. Vulnerable. You don't know me. You said I'm your mate. But that's insane. Mates are fairy tales. Mates are chemistry. Dante crouched in front of her, bringing himself to eye level. It's biology. Instinct. Recognition on a level humans don't understand because they've forgotten how to listen to it. That's not an answer. Yes, it is. His hand reached out, slowly, giving her time to pull away. and brushed a strand of hair from her face. His fingers were warm. Too warm. From the moment I caught you on that street, my wolf knew. And your wolf knew too, even if you can't hear her yet. Eva's breath hitched. I don't have a wolf. You do. She's just been quiet for a long time. His thumb traced her jaw. Featherlight. But she's waking up, Eva. I can feel it. She should pull away. Should put distance between them. But she couldn't move. Because he was right. Something inside her was waking up. Something that recognized the warmth of his touch. The scent of cedar and rain. The steady certainty in his eyes. Something that felt dangerously close to belonging. I'm scared, Eva whispered.
Good.
Fear means you're paying attention. Dante's hand dropped. He stood, putting space between them like it cost him something. Get some sleep. Tomorrow we start training. Training for what? Everything. He turned toward the door, then paused. And Eva? Don't go back to Chicago. Not yet. Tristan will be looking for you. And his pack plays dirty. What about my things? My apartment? My life. I'll have someone pack your apartment and ship everything here. As for your life, his eyes met hers. That ended the moment you walked into that bridal suite. What comes next is up to you. He left her alone on the terrace. Eva sat there for a long time, listening to the waves crash against the shore below. The Miami heat was different from Chicago's cold.
Thick. Humid. Alive.
She looked down at her hands. Normal human hands.
Pale. Small.
Unremarkable. But for just a second, in the moonlight, she could have sworn she saw something beneath the surface. A shadow. A flicker of something darker. She curled her fingers into her palms. 29 days. Either she figured out how to become something she didn't believe existed, or she spent the rest of her life bound to a man who'd already proven he'd destroy her. Not much of a choice. Eva stood. The exhaustion that had been dragging at her all day was gone, replaced by something sharp and hot and furious. She walked back inside. Found her way through the massive estate, marble floors, art that probably cost more than her college tuition, rooms that seemed to go on forever. She should be overwhelmed, should be terrified. Instead, she felt angry. Tristan had used her. Her cousin had betrayed her. And now some ancient pack law was trying to claim ownership of her body and her future.
No.
Eva Pierce might have been comfortable. She might have been boring. She might have spent her whole life playing it safe. But she was done with that. She found the guest wing Dante had mentioned, pushed open the door to her room, and stopped. It wasn't a room. It was a suite. Bigger than her entire apartment back in Chicago. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the ocean. A bed that could sleep 4 people. A bathroom with a soaking tub and a shower that had more jets than she could count. On the bed was a stack of clothes. Her size. Designer labels she'd never been able to afford. A note sat on top, written in sharp, angular handwriting. For tomorrow. Sleep if you can. We start at dawn.
D.
Eva ran her fingers over the clothes. Soft athletic wear. Running shoes that looked serious. Everything practical. Nothing frivolous. He was already planning. Already preparing her for whatever came next. She should resent it. The presumption. The control. But instead, she felt something else. Relief. Because for the first time since her mother died, someone was taking care of her. Not because they wanted something from her. Not because she was useful. But because she mattered. Eva stripped off her borrowed clothes and stepped into the shower. Let the hot water pound against her shoulders. Tried to wash away the feeling of Tristan's hands, Isla's smirk, 300 guests watching her fall apart. When she finally crawled into bed, she expected the nightmares to come. Expected to see Tristan smile. Isla's red hair spilling across her wedding dress. But instead, she dreamed of running. Faster than should be possible. Her legs pumping, her lungs burning in the best way. Forest blurring past. Moonlight turning everything silver. And beside her, pacing her stride for stride, was a massive black wolf with eyes like amber fire. She woke at dawn to knocking on her door. Up, Dante's voice called through the wood. Training starts in 20 minutes. Don't be late. Eva groaned. Her body felt strange, heavy and light at the same time, like her bones had been rearranged while she slept. She forced herself out of bed, pulled on the athletic clothes, laced up the running shoes. When she opened the door, Dante was already gone. But she could smell him, that cedar and rain scent, and something in her chest pulled tight, urging her to follow. So she did. Down hallways, through the main living area, out onto a back terrace she hadn't seen before.
And stopped.
The estate backed onto private beach. White sand, turquoise water. And in the center of it all, Dante stood waiting, dressed in black athletic pants and nothing else. Eva's mouth went dry. She'd known he was built. You couldn't miss it. But seeing him in full daylight, shirtless, was something else entirely. Broad shoulders, defined chest, abs that looked carved. And those scars she'd glimpsed last night, claw marks, definitely claw marks, running across his ribs and shoulder blades. Evidence of violence. Survival.
Power.
You're staring, Dante said without looking at her. Eva's cheeks burned. You're half naked. You'll be running. Didn't think you'd want me in a three-piece suit. He finally turned, and his eyes swept over her. Something flickered there, approval? Hunger? Before his expression went neutral. Ready? For what? To find your wolf. He started walking toward the tree line beyond the beach. Keep up. And then he ran. Not jogged.
Ran.
Fast enough that Eva had to sprint just to stay within sight of him. Her lungs burned. Her legs screamed. But something in her rose to meet the challenge. That thing that had been sleeping. Waiting. It stretched inside her chest like a cat waking from a long nap. And for the first time in her life, Eva Pierce felt like she was exactly where she was supposed to be. And here's where I need to pause and ask you something. If you're loving this story so far, if you're feeling Eva's rage, her confusion, her pull toward Dante, why haven't you subscribed yet? Seriously, drop a comment right now and tell me, what country are you watching from and why you haven't hit that subscribe button? I'll wait. Because if you're this invested and you're not subscribed, I don't know, that hurts a little. We're building something special here at Gracie Werewolf Story Bank, and you're part of it. So comment below. Where are you watching from? Let's see how global this pack really is. Chapter 4. The first week nearly killed her. Not literally. Though there were moments, gasping for air after her fifth sprint up the beach, muscles screaming, vision swimming. When Eva wondered if Dante was actually trying to murder her through exercise. But he wasn't. He was trying to wake something up. Every morning started the same. Dawn breaking over the Atlantic, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold that would have been romantic if Eva wasn't about to get her rear end handed to her. Dante would be waiting on the beach, already warmed up, looking unfairly alert for someone who apparently never slept. Again, he'd say. Just that. Again. And Eva would run. Miles of sand. Her calves burning. Her lungs on fire. Sweat soaking through her shirt before the sun fully rose. But here's the thing nobody tells you about pushing your body past its limits. Eventually, something else takes over. Something primal. Something that doesn't think, just moves. By day 3, Eva stopped counting steps. Stopped thinking about breathing. Just ran. And felt something inside her stretch. Flex. Test the edges of its cage. Better. Dante said on the 4th morning, barely winded after matching her pace for 6 miles. You're starting to feel it. Eva bent over, hands on her knees, trying not to vomit. Feel what? Death approaching. His mouth twitched. Almost a smile. Your wolf. She's getting curious. Eva straightened. Her heart was still hammering, but not just from exertion. Every time Dante got close, which was often during training, her skin prickled. Her pulse kicked up. Her body responded in ways that had nothing to do with exercise. How do you know? She asked. Your eyes. He stepped closer. Too close. Close enough that she could feel the heat radiating off him. They flicker sometimes. When you're pushing hard. blue to gold. Just for a second. That's not possible, says the woman who's been running 6 miles a day after barely being able to jog one last week. His head tilted. Your body is changing, Eva. Preparing. The wolf knows what's coming even if you don't. What was coming?
Right.
The challenge. Tristan. 22 days left on the countdown to forever bound to a cheating liar. The thought made her want to hit something. Good, Dante said, watching her face. Hold on to that anger. You're going to need it. He taught her to fight on day 5. Not the kind of fighting they teach in self-defense classes. Keys between your fingers, aim for the eyes, run if you can. Real fighting. The kind that required getting comfortable with violence. Your instinct is going to be to pull back, Dante said, circling her on the sand. They'd moved to a more private section of the beach, away from the estate, where the tree line created natural walls. To hesitate. To apologize for hurting someone. You need to kill that instinct. I don't want to hurt anyone. Then you'll lose. He moved faster than she could track. 1 second standing 3 feet away, the next behind her, his arm around her throat. Not choking. Just holding. And losing means Tristan owns you.
Forever.
Is that what you want? Eva's blood went hot. She slammed her elbow back, hit nothing but air because Dante had already moved. Predictable, he said from her left. Try again. She spun, aimed a punch at his jaw. He caught her fist effortlessly. Better. But you're still thinking like prey. His grip tightened, not painful, but immovable. Prey runs. Prey hides. What are you, Eva? I don't know, she gritted out. Yes, you do. His eyes bored into hers, amber flickering in the gray. You've always known. You just spent your whole life pretending otherwise to make everyone around you comfortable. The words hit like a slap. Because he was right. How many times had Eva made herself smaller? Quieter? Easier to deal with? She'd planned events for clients who treated her like staff. She'd smiled through Tristan's mother's passive-aggressive comments about her modest background. She'd let Isla take her clothes, her food, her space, because saying no felt too confrontational. She'd spent 27 years being comfortable, being safe, being forgettable. Something inside her snarled. Eva twisted her wrist. A move Dante had shown her yesterday, broke his grip, and slammed her palm toward his solar plexus. He blocked it, but barely. His eyes widened. There she is, he breathed. They trained for hours. Grappling. Striking. Learning to read an opponent's body language. Eva fell more times than she could count. Hit the sand so hard, she tasted blood. Got back up anyway. And Dante never went easy on her. He moved like liquid violence, controlled, precise, devastating. Every strike calculated. Every block perfectly timed. But he wasn't trying to hurt her. He was trying to teach her to survive. Wolves fight differently than humans, he explained during a water break. Both of them breathing hard. Eva's shirt clinging to her skin. Lower center of gravity. More momentum. You can't box with a wolf, you'll lose. You have to think like one. I don't know how to think like a wolf. You will. His eyes tracked the bruise forming on her shoulder from where she'd hit the sand wrong. His jaw tightened. Soon. By the second week, something shifted. Eva woke before dawn without an alarm. Her body felt different, stronger, yes, but also more aware. She could hear things she shouldn't be able to hear. The ocean waves from half a mile away. Dante's heartbeat when he stood close. The rustle of palm fronds in wind so subtle, she couldn't feel it. Her senses were sharpening. And so was her awareness of Dante. The way his eyes followed her during training. The careful distance he maintained when they were alone. The tension that crackled between them like static electricity bu. Yielding before a storm. One evening, after a particularly brutal session, they ended up on the terrace. The sun was setting, painting everything gold and orange. Eva was covered in sweat, her muscles trembling from exhaustion. Dante handed her a towel without a word. His fingers brushed hers. That jolt. Every single time. You're getting faster, he said. His voice was rougher than usual. Stronger. Your reflexes are improving. Because you keep throwing me into the sand. Because your wolf is waking up. He stepped closer. His presence overwhelming. Can you feel her? Eva closed her eyes. Tried to sense what he was talking about. And there, beneath her ribs, behind her heartbeat, something stirred. Something that felt like her, but not her. Something wilder. Freer. Something that wanted out. Yes, she whispered. When she opened her eyes, Dante was right there. Close enough that she could see the flecks of gold in his gray eyes. Close enough that his scent, cedar and rain, and that wild something, wrapped around her like smoke.
Eva.
Her name on his lips felt like a prayer. A warning.
Dante.
She couldn't look away. His hand lifted,
Slowly.
giving her every chance to step back. His fingers brushed her jaw, tilted her face up. Eva's breath caught. Her pulse was racing now, and it had nothing to do with training. You're stronger than you know, Dante said, his voice dropping to barely above a whisper. I don't feel strong. I feel... She trailed off. Couldn't find the words. Alive. His thumb traced her lower lip. Featherlight. Devastating. Like something inside you is finally breaking free. Yes. They were so close. His breath ghosted across her face.
Warm.
Steady. Eva's eyes fluttered closed. She was leaning in. She couldn't help it. Dante made a sound, low, almost pained. And then he pulled back. Eva's eyes snapped open. What? Not like this. His hand dropped. He took a full step backward, then another. His jaw was clenched tight enough to crack teeth. Not until you choose me freely. What are you talking about? The mate bond. He dragged a hand through his hair. It's pulling you toward me, making you feel things you might not actually feel. I won't take advantage of that. Eva's chest ached. That's not. You don't know that. You can't know that until your wolf fully emerges. Until you're in full control. His eyes met hers.
Burning.
And when you choose me, if you choose me, I need to know it's real. Not instinct. Not biology.
You.
He turned and walked inside before she could respond. Eva stood there shaking. From exhaustion. From frustration. From want. Because he was wrong. Whatever she felt for Dante Ashford might have started with instinct, with that inexplicable pull. But it had become something more. Something that had nothing to do with wolves or mates or ancient pack law. It had to do with the way he looked at her like she was powerful. The way he pushed her without breaking her. The way he saw everything she'd spent her life hiding and didn't flinch.
He saw her.
Really saw her. And she was choosing him. Was already choosing him. She just needed to prove it. That night, Eva couldn't sleep. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to the ocean, thinking about Tristan, about Isla, about the life she'd almost had, and realized she didn't want it. Even if none of this werewolf insanity was real. Even if she woke up tomorrow and it was all a stress-induced hallucination, she still wouldn't want that life. Because that life required her to be small. And she was done being small. The nightmare hit around 2 a.m. Eva was back at the St. Regis, walking down the hallway, opening the bridal suite door. But this time, Tristan looked up and smiled. And his smile grew.
And grew.
Until his mouth was too wide, filled with too many teeth. You're mine, he said. You've always been mine. Isla laughed. Broken little Eva. Not good enough. Never good enough. The room started shrinking. Walls closing in. Eva couldn't breathe. Couldn't move. Tristan reached for her. His hands too large. His eyes glowing wrong. Not amber, but yellow.
Sick.
Forever, he whispered. Eva screamed. And something inside her answered. It wasn't like the movies. There was no dramatic music. No slow transformation. It was agony. Her bones cracked, not broke, but reshaped. Her spine arched. Her skin erupted in pain as fur burst through. Her hands twisted, fingers shortening, nails extending into claws. She was screaming, but the sound changed, became something between human and animal. Eva fell to her knees, except she didn't have knees anymore. She had haunches. For legs where there should be two. Her senses exploded. The room too bright, too loud. She could smell everything, the ocean, the estate, Dante somewhere close. She could hear his heartbeat, his breathing, his footsteps running toward her room. Terror crashed through her. She tried to stand, to run, but her legs didn't work right. Too many. Wrong configuration. The door burst open. Dante stood there, eyes wide, taking in the scene. Eva. No. The wolf that had been Eva. Backed into the corner, snarling.
Easy, Dante said. His voice was calm.
Controlled. But his eyes were pure amber now.
Glowing.
Easy, Eva. You're okay. You're safe. The wolf didn't believe him. The wolf wanted to run. Wanted out. Wanted. Dante's body blurred. 1 second, a man. The next, a massive black wolf with eyes like fire. He was huge. Easily twice Eva's size. His fur so dark it seemed to absorb light. Scars crisscrossing his shoulders, visible even through the thick coat. He was terrifying. He was beautiful. The black wolf padded forward.
Slowly. Carefully.
His head lowered. Non-threatening. Eva's wolf snarled. Backed up further. The black wolf stopped. And then, he lay down, right there on the floor, making himself smaller. Vulnerable. Eva's wolf tilted her head. Confused. The black wolf huffed. A soft sound. Almost gentle. And something in Eva's chest cracked open. She took a tentative step forward. Then another. The black wolf didn't move. Just watched her with those amber eyes. Eva approached. Sniffed. His scent was even stronger in this form. Earth and cedar and pack and home. Her wolf stopped snarling. The black wolf stood carefully. Padded past her. Out onto the terrace. Eva followed. The Miami night was alive in a way she'd never experienced. She could smell the ocean, taste the salt in the air, feel the warmth of the stone under her paws, hear creatures moving in the darkness, small things, prey things. Her wolf wanted to hunt, to run, to be. The black wolf looked at her, then lay down again, stretched out, his tail flicking once. An invitation. Eva, hesitant, still terrified, still not understanding how her body worked, approached. Lay down next to him. The black wolf shifted closer, his warmth bleeding into her, his presence solid and steady and safe. And Eva's wolf finally relaxed. They lay there in silence as the moon tracked across the sky. No words. No explanations. Just two wolves watching the ocean. Just presence. And for the first time since her mother died, maybe for the first time in her entire life, Eva felt like she was exactly what she was supposed to be. Not broken. Not useless. Not too much or not enough. Just whole. As dawn broke, Eva's body shifted back. Bones cracking. Fur receding. The process hurt, less this time. Or maybe she was just too exhausted to care. She found herself naked on the terrace, shivering despite the Miami heat. Dante, human again, wearing only the athletic pants he must have somehow grabbed, draped a blanket around her shoulders. You shifted, he said quietly. I shifted, Eva repeated. Her voice was hoarse.
Raw.
How do you feel?
She thought about it.
About the terror.
The pain.
The absolute strangeness of existing in a body that wasn't her own, but somehow was. Alive, she said finally. Dante's smile was small but genuine. Good. They sat together as the sun rose, neither speaking. Eva wrapped in the blanket, Dante beside her, both of them watching the day begin. And Eva thought, 18 days left. 18 days to master a body she'd just discovered. 18 days to learn to fight as a wolf. 18 days before she faced Tristan. It should have felt impossible. Instead, it felt like a promise.
Chapter 5.
Eva had 14 days of relative peace. 14 days of training that pushed her past every limit she thought she had. 14 days of learning to shift without screaming, to hunt without thinking, to move through the world as something other than human. 14 days of Dante watching her with eyes that burned, but hands that never reached. And then Tristan showed up.
It was a Tuesday.
Eva was on the beach doing her morning run. 5 miles now without breaking a sweat, when she felt it. A wrongness in the air. Like the atmosphere had curdled. She stopped mid-stride. Her wolf stirred, hackles raising even though she was still in human form. Dante appeared from the tree line. He'd been shadowing her runs, always close enough to help but far enough to let her push herself. Now his entire body was rigid, his eyes already amber. "They're here," he said. Eva didn't need to ask who. They came up the private drive in 3 black SUVs. Expensive, aggressive, the kind of vehicles that announced money and weren't afraid to use it as a weapon. By the time Eva and Dante reached the front of the estate, the cars were parked in a semicircle. Doors opening, people emerging. Tristan stepped out first. He looked exactly the same. Tall, conventionally handsome, with that easy confidence that came from never being told no. His suit was perfectly tailored. His hair styled just so. Like he was heading to a board meeting, not a confrontation. But his eyes gave him away. They were yellow, not the warm amber of a healthy wolf, but something sickly.
Desperate.
Isla came next. Red hair pulled back in a sleek ponytail. Designer dress that probably cost more than Eva's old monthly rent. She looked bored, examining her nails like this was beneath her. Then came the others.
6 of them.
All men. All built like they spent their lives in the gym. Enforcers, Eva's wolf whispered. Pack muscle. Dante moved in front of Eva. Not blocking her, but positioning himself between her and the threat. His presence radiated power, the kind that made the enforcers hesitate, their hands twitching toward weapons they couldn't quite reach for yet.
"Holloway," Dante said. His voice was flat, cold.
"You're trespassing." Tristan's smile was all teeth. "I'm collecting what's mine. She's not yours. Pack law says differently." Tristan pulled a phone from his pocket, tapped something, held it up. "Public claim. Filed and registered with the North American Pack Council. Evangeline Pierce is my mate. She was promised to me 3 years ago by her mother." "Liar," Eva said. The word came out sharp.
"Cutting."
Tristan's eyes flicked to her. Something predatory moved behind them.
"Eva."
"Baby, I know you're confused. The stress of the wedding, the shock of discovering what you are. Don't." Eva stepped around Dante, ignoring his low growl of warning. "Don't you dare try to spin this. I saw you. With her." She jerked her chin toward Isla. Isla's smile was slow. Satisfied. "He was just keeping himself entertained while you figured yourself out, sweetie. Men have needs." Eva's hands curled into fists. Her nails darkened. Lengthened. "Easy," Dante murmured behind her. "Not yet." Tristan's eyes narrowed as he watched Eva's partial shift. "You've changed. You have no idea." "I can see that." He took a step forward. His enforcers moved with him. "Which makes this complicated. See, the claim was filed when you were human. Dormant.
But now."
His gaze raked over her, assessing. "Now you're worth significantly more." "I'm not worth anything. I'm not property. That's where you're wrong." Tristan's voice went hard. Under pack law, an unclaimed female of prime bloodline can be bonded to strengthen pack alliances. Your mother knew this. She agreed to the arrangement before she died. Eva's stomach dropped.
"No."
She wouldn't. She was dying, Eva. Cancer doesn't come cheap. Someone had to pay those hospital bills. Tristan's smile was cruel. "My family covered every cent. In exchange for you." The world tilted. Her mother's hospital care. The private room. The experimental treatments that insurance wouldn't cover. The medications that cost thousands per dose. Eva had never questioned where the money came from. Her mother said she'd had savings. Insurance. That Eva shouldn't worry. But it had been Tristan's family. Buying her. Literally buying her. "You're lying," Eva whispered. "I have the contracts. Signed by your mother. Witnessed by pack officials." Tristan pulled out another phone. This one he handed to one of his enforcers, who started pulling up documents. You were promised to me, Eva. And I'm here to collect. Dante's growl was barely human. She's under my protection. You have no claim here. Your protection? Tristan laughed.
She's not part of your pack, Ashford. She's not marked.
Not bonded. You're just what? Playing hero? Trying to steal another pack's female? I'm not stealing anything. She came willingly. Because she didn't know what she was. But now she does. Tristan's eyes fixed on Eva. You're a wolf, Eva. That means you follow pack law. And pack law says you're mine. I reject your claim. Eva's voice was steady.
Strong.
I'm not yours. I never was. Tristan's smile faded. You can't reject what's already binding. Watch me.
You don't understand.
The contracts. I don't care about your contracts. I don't care what my mother agreed to when she was desperate and dying. I'm not property. And I'm not going back to Chicago with you. Tristan's face darkened. You don't have a choice. She has every choice, Dante said. His voice carried weight. Alpha command. Eva's wolf whispered. The kind of power that made weaker wolves submit. Eva is under Ashford pack protection. Any attempt to take her by force will be considered an act of war. The enforcers shifted nervously. War between packs meant death.
Blood.
Losses no one could afford. But Tristan just smiled. You'd really go to war over a female who isn't even yours? Who you have no legal claim to? Yes. The single word hung in the air like a threat. Tristan studied Dante. Then Eva. His eyes calculating. You shifted her, he said slowly. You woke her wolf. I did. Then you know what she is. What her bloodline means. Tristan took another step forward. She's not just any dormant wolf, Ashford. Her mother was a thorn. Do you know what that name means? Dante's expression didn't change. Yes. Eva looked between them. What are you talking about? Tristan's laugh was bitter. Oh, this is perfect. He didn't tell you. Your protector, your savior. He knows exactly what you are, and he didn't tell you. Dante. Eva turned, her chest tight. Dante's jaw was locked. Later. We'll discuss it later.
No.
Eva's voice cracked. Tell me now. What's my bloodline? Eva. Tell me. Dante's eyes closed briefly. When he opened them, they were pained. Your mother's line. The thorns, they're royal blood. Old blood. The kind that can trace back to the first packs. To the origin wolves. Eva's breath caught. Royal. Fairy tales. Tristan scoffed. Legends to make certain families feel special. But the blood is real enough. Powerful enough. Rare enough that the right buyer would pay millions for a female thorn. Especially one of breeding age. The words hit like a physical blow. Breeding age. That's why you wanted me, Eva breathed. Not for pack alliances. For money. Initially? Sure. Tristan shrugged. My family's been hemorrhaging money for decades. Bad investments. Worse leadership. We needed capital. And you were the perfect solution, dormant, unaware, easy to control. But then she shifted, Isla said. She was leaning against one of the SUVs now, looking entertained. And now she's worth so much more. Eva turned to her cousin. You knew. The whole time. Of course I knew. Isla examined her nails. Why do you think I moved in?
Someone had to keep tabs on you.
Make sure you didn't accidentally shift before the wedding. You poisoned my mother. The words came out flat.
Certain.
Isla's smile froze. What? My mother. The cancer that came out of nowhere. That spread too fast. You poisoned her. Eva's wolf was rising now, pressing against her skin. To speed up my inheritance. To get me away from anyone who might protect me. Eva, that's insane. Is it? Eva took a step forward. Her eyes were changing. She could feel it. Blue to gold. Human to wolf. Because suddenly a lot of things make sense. How you showed up right after she died. How you wormed your way into my life. How you were always there, always watching. Isla's face paled. She looked at Tristan. Triss. Shut up, Tristan snapped. But it was too late. The truth was written all over Isla's face.
Guilt. Fear.
Confirmation. Eva's vision went red. You killed her. Her voice was barely human now. You killed my mother for money. It was just business, Isla stammered. Nothing personal. She was dying anyway. Eva shifted. No thought. No control. Pure rage. 1 second she was human. The next she was wolf. White fur, ice blue eyes, lips pulled back in a snarl that showed every tooth. Isla screamed. Scrambled backward. The enforcers moved, and Dante shifted too. The massive black wolf from Eva's first night. He placed himself between Eva and Tristan's men, a growl rumbling from his chest that made the ground vibrate. Call them off, Tristan said.
His voice was strained.
He'd shifted partially, claws extended, eyes glowing. Call them off, or my men will put them down.
Try it, Dante said.
Somehow he could speak in wolf form, his voice distorted but understandable. See what happens. The standoff held. Eva's wolf wanted blood, wanted to tear Isla apart, wanted to make her pay for every lie, every manipulation, every moment of her mother's suffering. But Dante's presence beside her was like an anchor.
Steady. Solid.
Keeping her from crossing a line she couldn't come back from. This is over, Tristan said finally. Eva, you have 15 days left. Either you return to Chicago and honor the contract, or I'll invoke pack trial. Do you understand what that means? Eva forced herself to shift back. It hurt. Everything hurt. But she needed to be human for this. It means combat, she said hoarsely. Trial by combat.
Yes.
You against me. Winner takes the bond. Tristan's smile returned. And, sweetheart? I've been training to kill since I was 6 years old. You've been a wolf for what, 2 weeks? 14 days, Eva said. I've been a wolf for 14 days. Exactly. Tristan turned toward his cars. 15 days, Eva. Then you're mine. One way or another. He paused. Looked back. Oh, and one more thing. The buyer I lined up? He's still interested. Very interested. If you don't honor the contract, if you somehow manage to win the trial, which you won't, he's authorized me to take you by force. He's got resources you can't imagine. Money, soldiers, political connections that go all the way to the Pack Council. Who is he? Dante Dima.
Dead.
Tristan's smile was vicious. Someone who makes me look charitable. Someone who'll break her in ways you can't protect her from. He climbed into his SUV. 15 days, Ashford. Enjoy them. They're all you have left. The vehicles pulled away, disappeared down the drive. Eva stood frozen, her mind spinning. Her mother murdered. Her life sold. 15 days until her legs gave out. Dante caught her, held her. His arms strong and warm, and the only thing keeping her from shattering completely. She killed her, Eva whispered against his chest. Isla killed my mother. For money. For a business deal. I know. Dante's hand stroked her hair. I know. And you knew. About my bloodline. About what I am. His arms tightened. Yes. Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't want you to see yourself as a commodity. As something valuable, because of your genetics. He pulled back enough to meet her eyes. I wanted you to see yourself as powerful, as strong, as someone who could choose her own path. But I can't choose. Can I? Eva's laugh was broken. I'm either Tristan's mate or I'm sold to some mysterious buyer who's apparently even worse.
No.
Dante's voice was fierce. You're going to fight. And you're going to win. He's right. I've been a wolf for 2 weeks. He's been training his whole life. He's been training as a spoiled pack heir who's never faced real consequences. You've been training as someone with everything to lose. Dante cupped her face, forced her to look at him. You're stronger than him, Eva. Not because of your bloodline. Because of who you are. Because you've been underestimated your entire life and you're done with it. Eva wanted to believe him, wanted to feel that certainty he carried like armor. But all she felt was tired. And scared. And so angry. 15 days, she whispered. 15 days, Dante agreed. Then you show them what happens when you back a thorn into a corner. His eyes were blazing. Absolute.
Certain.
And looking at him, at the faith written in every line of his face, Eva felt something crack open in her chest. Not hope. Not yet. But something close. Something that tasted like rage and revenge, and the absolute refusal to let anyone else decide her fate.
Okay, she said.
15 days. Teach me how to kill. Dante's smile was sharp. Dangerous.
Proud.
With pleasure. Chapter 6. 15 days became 14. Became 10. Became 5. Eva trained like her life depended on it. Because it did. Dante pushed her harder than ever. They sparred for hours, wolf against wolf, learning to read movements, anticipate strikes, turn defense into offense in a heartbeat. He taught her to use her smaller size as an advantage, to be faster, more agile, to strike where it hurt most. Tristan will expect you to fight like prey, Dante said on day 3, both of them panting in the training ring Heed had built on the estate grounds. Defensive.
Scared.
He'll try to use his weight and experience to dominate. So what do I do? Eva's muscles were screaming. She had bruises on her bruises. You fight like you've already won. Like there's no doubt in your mind that you're walking away, and he's not. Dante circled her. Confidence is half the battle. Hesitation gets you killed. By day 7, Eva could shift in under 3 seconds. Could hold her wolf form for hours without exhaustion. Could track Dante through the forest using only scent and instinct. By day 10, she'd pinned him twice in sparring. Actually pinned him, the massive alpha who outweighed her by 100 pounds in wolf form. The second time, Dante shifted back to human beneath her, pride blazing in his eyes. That's it, he said. That's exactly it. Eva shifted back, suddenly very aware that she was straddling his bare chest, both of them naked from the shift, covered in dirt and sweat. She started. Dante's hand came up.
Cupped her jaw.
His thumb traced her cheekbone. You're magnificent, he whispered. Eva's breath caught. Her heart was already racing from the fight, but now it was racing for entirely different reasons. Dante. I know. Bad timing. His smile was rueful. But after tomorrow, if you'll have me. When? Eva corrected. When I win tomorrow. Not if. His smile widened, became something fierce and proud and utterly devastating. When you win tomorrow, he agreed. Will you let me court you properly? No mate bonds. No pack law. Just you and me figuring out what this is. Eva's chest ached. Yes. Good. He sat up carefully, lifting her with him. Now get off me before I forget I'm trying to be honorable. The trial was set for dawn. Neutral ground, as pack law demanded. A clearing in the Everglades, far from human eyes, surrounded by ancient cypress trees draped in Spanish moss. The kind of place that remembered when wolves ran these lands freely. Representatives from a dozen packs arrived before sunrise. The pack council sent 3 adjudicators, older wolves with silver in their hair and eyes that had seen centuries of trials. Eva stood at the edge of the clearing, wearing simple athletic clothes that would shred easily when she shifted. Dante beside her. Silent.
Steady.
His hand resting on the small of her back, not claiming, just supporting. Across the clearing, Tristan waited with his pack. 6 enforcers. Isla hovering at the back, trying to look small. Tristan himself stood at the center, already shirtless, already radiating false confidence. He looked bigger than Eva remembered. More dangerous. Her wolf snarled. Unimpressed. The head adjudicator, a woman who looked about 60, but was probably 3 times that, stepped into the center of the clearing. We are gathered under the old laws, she announced. Her voice carried despite not being raised. Tristan Holloway of the Chicago Pack has filed a bonding claim on Evangeline Pierce, née Thorne. Evangeline has rejected this claim. As is her right under pack law, she has demanded trial by combat. Murmurs rippled through the assembled wolves. The rules are simple, the adjudicator continued. Wolf form only. Fight until submission or death. The winner's claim stands as law. Do both parties understand? I do, Tristan said. His smile was vicious. I do, Eva said. Her voice didn't shake. Does Evangeline have a champion who wishes to fight in her stead? Dante tensed beside her. Eva knew he wanted to step forward. Knew every instinct in him was screaming to protect her. No, Eva said clearly. This is my fight. Dante's hand tightened on her back for just a moment, then released. The adjudicator nodded. Then let the trial begin. Shift when ready. Eva stripped off her clothes without ceremony. Around her, wolves from other packs watched with varying expressions: curiosity, pity, hunger. She ignored them all. Focused on Tristan. He was already shifting, bones cracking. For sprouting. He was fast, she'd give him that. Decades of practice showed. His wolf form was massive. Russet brown with that same sickly yellow in his eyes. Bigger than Eva's white wolf. Heavier. More scarred. More experienced. The crowd expected him to win. She could feel it. Could smell their doubt. Good. Let them doubt. Eva shifted. The change was smooth now. Effortless. Her white wolf emerged in a fluid motion that took maybe 2 seconds. Tristan's lips pulled back, showing teeth. Eva's wolf smiled back. A predator's smile. The adjudicator raised her hand. Begin. Tristan charged immediately. No preamble. No testing. Just straight aggression meant to overwhelm. Eva dodged left. His jaws snapped closed on empty air. She darted in. Teeth finding his shoulder. Not deep, a testing strike. Drawing first blood. Tristan snarled. Whipped around faster than something his size should move. His paw caught her ribs. Sent her rolling. Eva came up running. Circled. Her training kicking in. Don't stay still. Don't let him use his weight. Tristan charged again. Eva ducked under. Came up behind him. Teeth sinking into his hind leg. He roared. Kicked back. Caught her jaw. Stars exploded behind Eva's eyes. She tasted blood. Her own. The wolf inside her howled. Not in pain. In rage. They clashed again. Teeth and claws. Tristan fighting with brutal efficiency. Eva fighting with desperate speed. He was stronger. That was undeniable. Every hit he landed felt like a hammer. But Eva was faster. And angrier. She remembered her mother's hospital room. The way her mother's hand had felt. Too thin. Too weak. The way she'd apologized for not being able to afford better care. Care that Tristan's family had paid for. With Eva as the price. Eva's teeth found Tristan's throat. Not deep enough to kill. Just enough to warn. He threw her off. She hit the ground hard. Got up. Charged again. This became the rhythm. Eva striking fast. Tristan hitting hard. Both of them bleeding. Both refusing to submit. Minutes stretched. 5. 10. 15. Eva's lungs burned. Her muscles screamed. Blood matted her white fur. But she didn't stop. Couldn't stop. Because this wasn't just about the trial. About pack law. About freedom. This was about every time she'd made herself smaller. Every time she'd swallowed her words. Every time she'd let someone else decide what she was worth. Tristan lunged. Caught her shoulder. His teeth sank deep. Eva howled. He shook her. Trying to break her grip. Trying to force submission. The crowd was roaring. Eva couldn't tell if they were cheering for her or him. Didn't matter. All that mattered was not giving up. Tristan released her. Circled. His yellow eyes gleaming with confidence. He thought he was winning. Maybe he was. Eva stumbled. Her shoulder was torn. Bleeding badly. Her vision swam. Tristan saw it. Saw weakness. He charged for the killing blow. And Eva remembered something Dante had said during training. Use their confidence against them. Let them think they're winning. Then show them they were wrong. At the last second, Eva dropped, rolled. Tristan's momentum carried him over her.
Exposed his belly.
Eva's teeth found soft flesh.
Bit down. Hard.
Tristan's howl was agony. He crashed down, Eva on top of him, her jaws at his throat. The crowd went silent. This was it. The moment. She could kill him. Pack law said she could. He'd tried to kill her. Had sold her. Had murdered her mother. She should kill him.
Her wolf wanted to.
But then, cutting through the bloodlust, through the rage, came a voice. Evangeline.
Dante.
Speaking in that alpha tone that commanded attention. You are not a victim. You are a queen. Now show him. The words crashed through her, cleared the red from her vision. She wasn't a victim. Had never been a victim. She was Eva Pierce, daughter of Catherine Thorne, a wolf who'd found herself after 27 years of sleeping. And queens didn't need to prove themselves by killing broken things. Eva's jaws tightened on Tristan's throat, just enough for him to feel it, to know how close death was. Then she released him, shifted back to human. Stood over his wolf form, bloodied, beaten, but alive. You're not worth it, she said. Her voice rang clear across the clearing. You're not worth my humanity. Not worth my rage. Not worth one more second of my life. She turned her back on him, walked away, naked, bleeding, exhausted, but victorious. The adjudicator's voice rang out. Evangeline Pierce has won. The bonding claim is rejected. Tristan Holloway, you are hereby stripped of your rank within the Chicago Pack for attempting to bond a female through fraudulent means. You will face the Pack Council for your crimes. Eva reached the edge of the clearing. Dante was there. He wrapped a blanket around her shoulders. His eyes were blazing with pride. You did it, he murmured. We did it, Eva corrected. Behind them, Isla was screaming, being dragged away by Pack enforcers. Tristan was still on the ground, shifted back to human, clutching his stomach. The adjudicator approached Eva. That was well done. Merciful. The mark of a true alpha. I'm not an alpha, Eva said. The woman smiled. Aren't you? You just defeated a Pack heir in single combat. Showed mercy when bloodlust demanded death. That's leadership, child. That's power. She glanced at Dante. Ashford, you found yourself quite the mate. She's not my mate, Dante said carefully. Not yet. Not unless she chooses to be. The adjudicator's smile widened. Of course. My apologies. She turned back to Eva. There's one more matter. Your bloodline. The Thorne name carries weight. Responsibilities. There are Packs who will want to ally with you. Others who will fear you. You'll need protection. She has it, Dante said flatly. I'm sure she does. But I meant political protection. The kind the council can offer. The woman pulled out a card. When you're ready, contact me. We have much to discuss about your mother's legacy. She walked away before Eva could respond. Eva stared at the card. Catherine Thorne's daughter. A legacy she'd never known existed. Come on, Dante said softly. Let's get you home. Home. The word settled in Eva's chest like a promise. They walked back to Dante's car. Eva's legs were shaking from exhaustion and adrenaline crash. Dante supported her weight without comment. As they drove away from the Everglades, the sun rising behind them, Eva watched the swamp disappear in the side mirror. Watched that chapter of her life close. What happens now? She asked. Dante's hand found hers.
Squeezed.
Now? Now you rest. You heal. And then you decide what you want. What if what I want is you? His grip tightened. Then you'll have me. For as long as you want me. What if I want forever? Dante pulled the car over. Right there on the side of the road. Turned to face her fully. Then forever is what you'll get. His hand cupped her face. No mate bonds. No Pack law. Just you and me choosing each other. Every single day. Eva's eyes burned. But not from pain. From something else. Something that felt like hope and home, and the absolute certainty that she was exactly where she was supposed to be. "I choose you," she whispered. "I choose you too," Dante said. And when he kissed her, soft and careful and achingly tender, Eva finally understood what her mother had meant. "You're more than you think, baby girl."
She was. She always had been.
She just needed to find the wolf inside her to see it. And now? Now she was free. Free to be exactly who she was meant to be. Not comfortable. Not safe. Not forgettable. But powerful.
Fierce. Whole.
A queen in her own right. And the story was just beginning. Chapter 7. 3 days after the trial, Eva's body finally stopped screaming. The wounds had healed faster than they should have. Wolf metabolism, Dante explained, but the exhaustion ran deeper. Bone deep.
Soul deep.
The kind that came from fighting for your life and winning. She spent those 3 days sleeping,
Eating.
existing in the quiet spaces between who she'd been and who she was becoming. Dante gave her space. Always close enough to help if she needed him, but never crowding. Never demanding. On the 4th day, Eva woke before dawn. Her body restless despite the exhaustion. Her wolf pacing inside her chest. She found herself walking through the estate. Down the hallway. Through the living room with its floor-to-ceiling windows. Out onto the terrace. Dante was already there. Of course he was. He stood at the railing, looking out over the ocean. Shirtless again. He seemed to prefer it, and Eva wasn't complaining, his scarred back catching the pre-dawn light. His dark hair was messy, like he'd been running his hands through it. He didn't turn when she approached, but his shoulders shifted, acknowledging her presence. "Can't sleep?" His voice was rough. Tired. Not anymore. Eva moved to stand beside him.
Close but not touching.
"You haven't been sleeping much." "Why not?" Dante's jaw worked. "Making sure you were safe. Making sure Tristan's pack wasn't sending anyone for revenge. Making sure you were healing properly." "You didn't have to do that." "Yes," he said quietly. "I did." They stood in silence. The waves crashed below, the sky slowly lightening from black to deep blue to the first hints of pink. Eva's chest ached. Not from her injuries. From something else. "You didn't have to let me fight alone," she said finally. Dante turned to look at her. His eyes were storm gray in the dim light. Tired but intense. "Yes, I did. You could have been my champion. Could have fought for me. And you would have spent the rest of your life wondering if you could have one on your own." His hand lifted, then dropped. Like he'd stopped himself from reaching for her. "You needed to know you could stand alone. That you didn't need saving." "But what if I'd lost?" "You wouldn't have." His certainty was absolute. "I've seen you fight, Eva. I've seen your rage. Your determination. You were always going to win." Eva's throat tightened. "You have a lot of faith in me. You have no idea." Dante's eyes held hers. "You walked away from everything familiar. Learned to shift in 2 weeks. Face down a male wolf twice your size with decades more experience. And you won. Not because you're a thorn. Not because of your bloodline. Because you're you." The words hit like a physical touch. "Why do you care so much?" Eva whispered. "You barely know me." Dante was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was raw, vulnerable in a way she'd never heard. "Because you're my mate. My wolf knew it the second I caught you on that street. But more than that." He turned fully to face her. "You're the first person in my life who makes me want to be soft." Eva's breath caught.
What?
"I've been an alpha since I was 19. My father died. The pack needed leadership. I learned to be hard, uncompromising. I built walls, so high nothing could touch me." His hand reached up, cupped her face with a gentleness that made her chest ache. "And then you crashed into me. Broken and furious and so damn brave. And every wall I built just crumbled." Eva's eyes burned. "Dante, you make me want things I convinced myself I didn't need. Softness. Tenderness. Someone to come home to who sees past the alpha to the man underneath." His thumb traced her cheekbone. You terrify me, Evangeline Pierce. Because losing you would break something in me I don't think could be fixed. Tears spilled over. Eva couldn't stop them. I don't want soft, she whispered. Dante's face fell. His hand started to drop. Eva caught it, held it against her face. I don't want soft, she repeated. I want real. I want messy. I want someone who sees me at my worst and doesn't flinch. She stepped closer, close enough to feel his heat. I want you. All of you. The alpha and the man. The hard and the soft. Everything. Dante's eyes blazed. Eva. I choose you, she said. Not because of a mate bond. Not because you saved me. Because when I look at you, I see home. I see possibility. I see a future I actually want. His forehead dropped to hers. His breath ghosted across her lips. Then you have me, he murmured. All of me. Always. Promise? I swear it. His hands framed her face. Gentle. Reverent. For as long as you'll have me. What if I want forever? Dante's smile was soft. Devastating. Then forever is what you get. And then he kissed her. Not the desperate kisses of people running from something. Not the frantic need of wolves answering instinct. This was slow, deliberate, achingly tender. This was a promise. Dante's lips moved against hers like he was memorizing her. Like he had all the time in the world and intended to use every second. His hands cradled her face like she was precious. Breakable. Eva pressed closer, her hands sliding up his bare chest, feeling his heart hammer beneath her palms. He was warm. So warm. And he tasted like coffee and something uniquely him. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Dante rested his forehead against hers. I love you, he whispered. I know it's too soon. I know we barely know each other. But I do. I love you. Eva's chest cracked wide open. I love you too, she breathed. I think I have since you caught me on that street. Since you gave me your jacket and didn't ask questions. Dante's laugh was shaky. Relief and joy mixed together. We're insane. Probably. Eva smiled against his lips. But I don't care. Neither do I. They stood there as the sun rose, wrapped in each other. No urgency. No desperation. Just two people who'd found each other in the wreckage and decided to build something new. Something real. Something that felt dangerously close to forever. And for the first time since her mother died, Eva felt complete. Not because she'd found her wolf. Not because she'd won the trial. Because she'd found herself. And in finding herself, she'd found him. Her match. Her equal.
Her home.
The rest of the world could wait. Right now, this moment, standing on a Miami terrace watching the sunrise with Dante Ashford's arms around her, this was enough. This was everything. Chapter 8. 6 months changed everything. Eva Pierce, no. Eva Thorne Ashford now, though the hyphen was still new enough to make her pause when she signed documents. Stood in the corner office of Ashford Capital's Miami headquarters, staring at the city spread out below her. She'd come a long way from planning corporate events in Chicago. Now she was planning corporate takeovers. Turned out, 300 years of Thorne bloodline came with an instinct for strategy that translated beautifully to business. Dante had brought her into the company slowly, consultant first, then advisor, then partner. The board had resisted initially. A wolf who'd been dormant until 6 months ago, suddenly wielding power in a billion-dollar empire? Then Eva had restructured a failing acquisition and turned it profitable in 8 weeks. The board stopped complaining. Her phone buzzed. A text from Dante. Board meeting in 10. Try not to terrify them too much. Eva smiled. Texted back, no promises. She'd found her voice these past 6 months. The one she'd spent 27 years keeping quiet. Turned out, when you stopped trying to make everyone comfortable, you could accomplish terrifying amounts. The Chicago pack had dissolved after Tristan's disgrace. His family's company, the one Ashford Capital had been circling, went bankrupt within 3 months. Tristan himself had disappeared. Rumor said he'd fled to Europe. Eva didn't care enough to confirm. Isla had been banished from Packlands. Last Eva heard, she was living in Vegas, selling pyramid scheme skincare to tourists. Poetic, really? Eva's phone buzzed again.
Not Dante this time.
Unknown number. She almost ignored it. Then saw the message preview. Your mother wanted you to have this. Her heart stopped. Eva opened the message. A photo loaded. Old, creased, like it had been folded and unfolded 1,000 times. Her mother. Younger, maybe 25. Standing beside another woman Eva didn't recognize. Both of them in formal dress. Behind them, a building Eva definitely didn't recognize.
Stone. Gothic. Old.
The text continued. Check your apartment. Storage Unit 4B. She left something for you. Eva's hands shook. Who is this? No response. She stared at the photo. Her mother's smile was different here. Confident. Powerful. Nothing like the tired nurse Eva remembered from her childhood. This woman looked like she could command armies. Eva's wolf stirred. Curious. Alert. The apartment. Her old Chicago apartment. She'd kept it even after moving to Miami. Couldn't bring herself to let it go completely. All her mother's things were still in storage there. She'd been meaning to go through them. Had been putting it off for 6 months because it hurt too much. Looked like she couldn't put it off anymore. Eva grabbed her coat. Headed for the door. Nearly collided with Dante in the hallway. Whoa. His hands steadied her. Board meeting. I have to go to Chicago. Eva showed him the photo. Someone just sent me this. Said my mother left something for me in storage. Dante's expression darkened. That's not suspicious at all. I know, but I have to go. Then we go together. He was already pulling out his phone. I'll have the jet ready in an hour. Dante, you have a board meeting. They'll survive. His eyes met hers. Serious. Your safety comes first. Always. Eva's chest tightened. 6 months, and she still wasn't used to having someone put her first. Okay, she said. Together. The flight to Chicago took 2.5 hours. Eva spent most of it staring at that photo. Trying to see the mother she'd known in this powerful stranger. Dante worked on his laptop beside her, occasionally reaching over to squeeze her hand, grounding her. They landed at a private airfield outside Chicago. Took a car straight to Eva's old apartment building. The place looked smaller than she remembered. Shabbier. Like she'd outgrown it in 6 months. The storage unit was in the basement. Concrete walls. Flickering fluorescent lights. The smell of mildew and old cardboard. Eva found 4B. Her mother's name still on the label in her own handwriting. She unlocked it. Pulled open the door. Boxes.
Dozens of them.
All her mother's possessions. Clothes Eva couldn't bring herself to donate.
Books.
Photos. A lifetime of memories packed away. What are we looking for? Dante asked. I don't know. Eva started opening boxes. Searching for something that felt significant. Something her mother would have hidden. An hour later, her hands were filthy and her frustration mounting. Nothing. Just normal belongings. Nothing secret. Nothing.
Wait.
At the back of the unit. A box Eva didn't remember packing. Unmarked. Taped shut with the kind of care that suggested intention. Eva's wolf perked up. This one. She pulled it forward. Dante helped her lift it. Heavier than it looked. Eva tore open the tape. Inside, a leather-bound journal.
Old.
The kind with a lock on it. And beneath that, wrapped in cloth, a knife. Not decorative.
Real.
The blade etched with symbols Eva didn't recognize. Her hands trembled as she lifted the journal. The lock was broken, like someone had forced it open. She flipped to the first page. Her mother's handwriting. For Evangeline. If you're reading this, I'm gone. And it's time you knew the truth. Eva's vision blurred. She blinked hard. Kept reading. You are not just a thorn. You are the thorn. Last of the direct royal line. Your father, the man you never knew, was the heir to the Winter Court. Yes, there are courts. Yes, they're real. And yes, they've been looking for you since the day you were born. Eva's blood went cold. I hid you in plain sight. Suppressed your wolf. Kept you human as long as I could. Because once you shift, once you come into your power, they'll find you. And they'll want to use you. Dante read over her shoulder. His hand tightened on her arm. There's a war coming, baby girl. Between the old packs and the courts. Between those who want to preserve our ways and those who want to evolve. You're the bridge. The one who can unite them or destroy them completely. Eva turned the page. More writing. Names she didn't recognize. Places. Alliances. Enemies. And at the bottom, trust the Ashfords. Dante's bloodline is old. Loyal. They'll protect you when I can't. But be careful. Not everyone who claims to want peace actually does.
Eva looked up at Dante.
You knew. Not all of it. His expression was tight. My father told me the thorns were important. That if I ever met one, I should protect them. But he died before telling me why. Because I'm royal? Eva's laugh was bitter. Because I'm some kind of bridge between factions I didn't even know existed? Because you're you. Dante cupped her face. Royal blood doesn't make you important, Eva. You make you important. Eva wanted to believe him, but her mother's words kept echoing. There's a war coming. She flipped through more pages, stopping on one near the end. A list of names. With the header, those who want Evangeline dead. 10 names. Some crossed out, some circled, and at the top, underlined 3 times. Castellan Voss. Winter Court Alpha. Will stop at nothing to claim her. Eva's hands shook. Who is Castellan Voss? Dante's expression went dark. Dangerous. He's the reason my father told me to protect the thorns. He's been trying to consolidate power in the Winter Court for decades, killing off rival bloodlines, absorbing their territories. His jaw clenched. If he finds out you exist, he already knows. Eva showed him the text message. The photo. Someone sent me here. Someone wanted me to find this. Then we need to get you somewhere safe.
Now. No.
Eva closed the journal. Stood. I'm done hiding. Done running. If there's a war coming, if people are looking for me, let them find me. On my terms. Eva. I spent 27 years being invisible, Dante. Being safe. Being forgettable. She met his eyes. I'm not that person anymore. I'm a thorn. Apparently, I'm royalty. And if someone wants to come for me, they're welcome to try. Dante stared at her. Then slowly, his expression shifted. Pride replacing concern. There's my queen, he murmured. Damn right. Eva grabbed the journal and the knife.
Come on.
We have work to do. They left the storage unit, headed back to the car. Eva's phone buzzed again. Same unknown number.
Good.
You found it. Now the real question. Are you ready for what comes next? Eva typed back, try me. The response was immediate. 3 days. The Frost Gala. New York. Castellan will be there. Come alone if you want answers. Bring backup if you want a war.
Eva showed Dante.
His growl was audible. It's a trap. Probably. Eva smiled.
Sharp.
Dangerous. Good thing I'm not the same girl who walked into that bridal suite 6 months ago. Eva. We're going to New York, Dante. We're going to this gala. And we're going to show Castellan Voss and anyone else paying attention exactly what happens when you threaten a thorn. Dante studied her for a long moment, then nodded. Okay, but we do this smart. We bring reinforcements. We prepare. Agreed.
Eva looked back at the apartment building. Her old life.
The person she used to be, that Eva was gone, had died in a bridal suite at the St. Regis. What emerged was something stronger, fiercer, unbreakable. 3 days. Then everything changed again. But Eva wasn't afraid. She had her wolf, her mate, her power, and she was done apologizing for any of it. But that's a story for another time. Because right now, Eva had a mate to kiss, a pack to lead, a company to run, and a life she never thought she'd get to live. The war could wait 3 more days. In the meantime, she had people who loved her, a purpose that set her soul on fire, and the absolute certainty that whatever came next, she could handle it. She wasn't comfortable anymore. She wasn't safe. She definitely wasn't forgettable. She was Evangeline Thorne Ashford, royal bloodline, warrior,
Queen.
and her story was just beginning. So here's my question for you. Yes, you, the one who just spent 2 hours with Eva's story. If you made it this far, if her journey from broken bride to powerful alpha moved you, if you're sitting there dying to know what happens at the Frost Gala, what Castellan Voss wants, how Eva's going to navigate this hidden world of courts and ancient bloodlines, why haven't you subscribed yet? Seriously, I need to know.
Drop a comment right now.
Tell me what country you're watching from. Tell me which moment hit you hardest, the betrayal, the first shift, the trial, the confession. Tell me if you're Team Dante, or if you think Eva should rule alone. Because here's the truth, we've got more stories coming. More alphas who don't play games. More betrayals that'll make your blood boil. More love stories that'll make you believe in fate. More strong heroines who refuse to be victims. Eva's story doesn't end here. The Winter Court. Castellan Voss. The war her mother warned her about. It's all coming. But if you're not subscribed to Gracie Werewolf Story Bank, you're going to miss it. And I don't want you to miss it. So do yourself a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Smash that notification bell. Join our pack. Because we're just getting started. And trust me, you're going to want to see what happens next. Comment below. Where are you watching from? Let's build this pack together. Welcome to Gracie Werewolf Story Bank. Your new obsession starts here.